Okay, sir. Next question from Priya Jain. Please ask.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I would like to ask you is that as a doctor, I mean, you are, as a doctor, what you will suggest me in spirituality, because I used to counsel many people who are having different types of diseases. So please suggest me the thing that the help of spirituality and uh, in their path of inner self guidance. I mean, you understand what I want to ask is.
I didn't understand.
Actually, I want to awaken those souls who are having different kind of diseases, and they come to me, and I used to counsel them with the help of spirituality. So I want to ask is that what you will suggest as per your experience, which will help me out to counsel them better.
So you want me to say that how spirituality helps you to understand and guide them better, right?
Yeah, I mean, they come to me only like, their diseases will go off from the root and they will get the disease free. But my intention to counsel them make a spark of spirituality in their souls. So please give me some guidance that I can do my job better.
Okay. So what I have understood from your question is how spirituality can be used and utilized to help them in a better way to come out of their diseases. This is what I understood from your question. Spirituality is an eternal elixir. Spirituality is the fountainhead of health and happiness. When I say spirituality is a fountainhead or elixir, what I mean by it is the path of consciousness, the path of convergence of consciousness. This is what is called spirituality for me. The path of awakening of consciousness. First thing is, before understanding how spirituality is exploited for their better health, for their better happiness, we have to understand why we do suffer from diseases. If you understand why we are suffering from diseases, the very understanding can lead to rooting out all these diseases. This is a great secret. This is a great insight. This is a great unfolding which many healers do not try, and many patients also do not try. Patient is one person who doesn't want to change himself. When you don't want to change yourself, you become a patient. Physical or psychological or both. There are some people who are called as spiritual patients as well. Spiritual patient means, for me, let me coin a new word today, spiritual patient. He sticks to one type of philosophy and never wants to change or think laterally. Philosophy. He doesn't want to look sideways. He doesn't want to think laterally. He doesn't want to see anything other than what is known. When spirituality is only exploring the unknown, people get diseased because of this rigid way of living. Inability to think laterally, inability to feel laterally, inability to understand laterally makes one diseased. Or patients. Psychological patients, suppose they are suffering from only psychological illnesses, but physically they are okay. No diabetes, no hypertension, no pains in the body, nothing. But only mind is a problem. They face their own inner resistance always for everything, and the sting inside their head. Emotional patient is that fellow and repentance. There are emotional maladies, emotional patient. Spiritual patient, yes, he's very much stuck to one type of philosophy or ideology or a path or a belief system and thinks that is everything. Without keeping himself open-minded, like a child. He's stuck. He has drawn all the decisions and conclusions. He's a spiritual patient for me. So how to deal all these people with the help of spirituality? Somebody has written political patient. Yeah, maybe. So first thing is, we cannot guide any human being in this world without their consent. This is rule number 1. We cannot guide any human being in this world without their consent. Their consent is must. Even for surgery, we have to take their consent, right? To undergo a surgery, he has to give a consent to me. Otherwise, I can now pull him to operation theatre and cut his abdomen. It is not possible. We have to take their consent. That is first rule number 1 always. Rule number 2, when you say somebody as patient is already clumsy, physically, psychologically, emotionally, or spiritually, they are clumsy already. They are cluttered in their minds. They are confused. They are chaotic. Their system is not in order at a physical level or emotional level or spiritual level. There is a disorder. The disorder is called as disease. Dis-ease. They are not at ease with himself. The inner ease is outrightly lacking. When the ease is outrightly lacking, that has turned into a disease. So to help all these people, first thing is the so-called healer or so-called guide must be spiritual, must have been on the path of inner evolution. Without the healer being on the path of inner evolution, it is impossible to heal anyone. There are so many types of healers in the world. Pranic healers, Reiki healers. There's so many experts in energy medicine, vibrational medicine, gem therapy, Alexandrias, Radix therapy, Richian therapies, Frederankrias, Jin Shanjutsu, Jujutsu, Shiatsu. So many types of therapies available in the world. Past life therapy, rebirthing therapy, pet therapy, plant therapy. So many affirmative therapies. So many types of therapies we are hearing. Every day, a new type of therapy is getting coined. A new set of nomenclatures, a new spiritual neologisms have already emerging on a daily basis. But whatever it may be, the point here is every so-called healer or spiritual guide must be really spiritual. Instead of claiming themselves as spiritual, talking about spirituality is not everything. The real essence, the real substance is required, not the style. Substance has to dominate the style. The essence has to dominate the real psyche. The real essence, the real inner essence must be there. The real fire in the belly must be there. Without the real fire in the belly, without the real evolutionary fire in the belly, nobody can claim themselves as spiritual. There is different types of people in the name of spirituality. There are spiritual talkers, spiritual teachers, spiritual guides, spiritual business people, spiritual hosts, spiritual anchors, spiritual masters, spiritual organizational leaders, spiritual book authors. So many types of people in the name of spirituality. But the only thing which makes a person spiritual or call oneself a spiritual is spiritual practice, spiritual sadhana. There is no substitute for spiritual sadhana. Without spiritual sadhana, none of the definitions that have been just spoken are really true. They're completely useless. Spiritual sadhana alone is important. Spiritual sadhana alone makes oneself to call spiritual. Without that, without experiencing that, without understanding that, the so-called healer, the so-called spiritual guide cannot really help anyone. There is only one help. The help is making them understand the value of awakening themselves. If you can make them understand the value of understanding their own awakening, there is no greater help than this. The disease will be out. The malady will be out. The disease disappears. The ease starts. Inner ease is equal to spirituality. Lack of inner ease, otherwise called as disease, is non-spirituality for me. So acquiring, cultivating, mastering inner ease is what is called spirituality. Nothing else is spirituality. When I say inner ease, there is no resistance inside. When you sit calm, quiet, for a common man, there is huge level of resistance. As much as he wants to go inside, that much he is dragged down. That much is tethered down. That much is anchored down. That much is gravitated down. The more he wants to move up, so much so he is coming down. Because of these forces of resistance, the forces of gravitation. When you can identify, remove all the forces of resistance in terms of one's inner chaos and conflict, then you are said to be spiritual. So as long as you can develop and master this inner ease, then only you will have eligibility to help them. So many spiritual guides do not have this inner ease. Inner ease is spirituality. Inner ease is everything in life. Inner ease is the only ability. Inner ease is the only strength of any person. You lose inner ease, you lose yourself. That's all. The only help is make them easy with themselves. If you can make them easy with themselves, there is no greater help. There is no greater healing. So inner ease is must for any person to remove all types of dis-ease. Okay, today I made a good statement, a valid statement. I'm enjoying myself. Thank you very much.